It's Monday. I've been trading for 15 hours already. Wow, huh? Awesome. So welcome to Forex.Today, the YouTube community of more than 19,000 foreign exchange traders. We're here to conduct technical and fundamental analysis with the overriding goal of helping you put together trade plans for the rest of the day, the rest of the week, the rest of the month, and the rest of the year. Let me remind you that trading is risky, not appropriate for everyone. Your past performance, good or bad, is not necessarily indicative of future results, but please stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term, and never risk money you cannot afford to lose. My name is McDonell. I will be your host today. I'm a currency trader just like you. I love technical analysis. I love fundamental analysis. I even went back to university in my 40s to get a degree in macroeconomics and a master's degree in financial management because I love finance, I love economics, I love behavioral finance, I love trading, I love investing. So cool. So what more can I do? I even got my Oxford colors on today. That's my Oxford shirt. Cool. So not Harvard today, but Oxford. What are you going to do? So anyways, ask questions, get involved, take notes, click like, tell YouTube this is quality content. I will do my best to serve you because I feel that I am a servant to you. I work for you. Or maybe to say it differently, you're my sweet baby. And I esteem you. So anyways, there's lots of resources out there to help you. I started FX Bootcamp almost 20 years ago because, I needed to surround myself with other like-minded people. Along the way, people asked me to write books. The link is in the description below. The courses are in the description below. Chart templates, people ask for that. The link is in the description below. And also, you're going to need a trustworthy foreign exchange broker that not only enters your trades into the interbanking system, but does it quickly and does it with low fees. Tradersway.com. The link is in the description below. But they earned my loyalty and respect during the Swiss National Bank debacle many years ago. Some brokers seemed to be trading against their clients and they went out of business that day. Tradersway was absolutely fine. They were unhurt. And, well, what that showed me is they actually entered their trades, or their client trades into the interbanking system, and they weren't trading against their clients. And I'm like, well, golly gee whiz, Batman. That's what I need. So anyways, Tradersway.com. Get on with it. Start the relationship today so you can have a trustworthy execution partner for your successful Forex trading business. Pastor says, hey, class late night was awesome. Thanks for everything, Wayne. If anyone's looking to join the team, well worth the investment. Right on. Appreciate that. Okay. Barry says, come to the Oxford Club in London. We can meet up for cigars. Yeah, absolutely. As a member of the Harvard Club, I can stay at the Oxford Club in London. And no joke, it's literally, I don't know if you're thinking this, Barry, but it's literally around the corner from J.J. Fox, right? The cigar club that what's his face? Churchill. Yeah, Winston Churchill, he would walk over from the House of Commons or whatever. He'd walk over from Parliament and have his cigars there. Well, literally right around the corner. Literally the same corner, right? Is the Oxford Club, and it's super private and exclusive and elite, and I love all that nonsense. So yeah, if I'm in London, I'll go out of my way to stay there. For sure. So cigars, for sure, man, for sure. All right, so you guys excited about another week? Let's see. Fundamentally, I'd say everything should go up. Technically, everything is pointing down. And then in between, Omicron is spreading around the world. It's even in the United States in multiple places like Georgia. And apparently some person flew in from South Africa and brought it to Georgia. You're like, come on, South Africa. Oh my God, nothing but bad press, huh? Nothing but bad press. You're like, how did Georgia get COVID, or how did Georgia get Omicron? Oh, some person got off a plane that flew in from South Africa right before the deadline. You're like, no way. So to reverse engineer this thing, someone's in South Africa thinking, you know what, I need to fly to America. You're like, dude, come on, just come on, dude, just come on, just stay home. Anyways, so that's how it got here. And then the interesting thing, I learned that that person got back onto another plane, weird, and then flew to Jersey. Now it's in Jersey. And interesting. Chances, does yearly pivot matter? Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Okay. Yeah, it does. So anyways, here's my thought though. How many people have died of Omicron globally? Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay. How many people in just the United States, not globally, how many people in the United States die every day of Delta? Like, what is it, 1,000? Okay? So I'm like, dude, like, at what point do we have to say Omicron's probably the best thing that's ever happened to humanity? Because everybody's going to get it. Everyone's going to build an immune response to it. Meanwhile, all the companies, they're going to want to develop boosters for free money for the rest of, now we're going to worry about flu and COVID, and every year you're going to get a booster shot, right? So what they're going to do is, like, they're going to come up with new vaccines, even if it's a placebo. They're like, dude, nobody cares about Omicron, right? So, but they'll buy a booster, so let's make a booster, right? So they'll make a booster, they'll make an adjustment to the vaccine, and that'll work. And meanwhile, if you get it, you're going to have to lay down, right? Lay down for a few days until you can go to work. Now, so that's interesting. So at some point, we're going to have to get back onto our fundamentals, I think. Now, like I said, I know somebody that recently traveled to like 5 or 6 countries in less than a week. And, he and everyone else in his party basically got COVID. Double vaccinated people. One of them got very, 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 very serious complications. And it is frightening. So I don't mean to downplay it, but right now what we're hearing is every single person that has Omicron seems to be lightly affected. COVID and Delta seems to be much more severe. And this person that had complications, their blood basically turned to gel. And you can imagine if your blood is that thick and gooey and blood like tar, how many things can go wrong between your kidneys, your eyes, your brain, your heart, just like not cool, right? So it can be very, very scary. I wasn't sure when people really are in the hospital. I thought it was all lung related and they put you on a ventilator, but apparently a lot of bad things could happen. And so that is scary. So I don't mean to downplay it because there are a lot of people in the world of hurt. It just doesn't seem like it's Omicron. Okay. Jody says, well, it's airborne. Yeah, but that might be great. Look, if the virus doesn't kill the host, then that's perfect for us. It'll spread all over the world. Every single person in the world will have exposure to Omicron. Most people won't get sick. I don't get the flu, ever. I'm Canadian. I don't get sick. You can't make me sick. Okay? I get sick when I work too hard and travel too much and my immune system just goes to the toilet and then I catch the flu or something, right? But 99.9% of the time, I do not get sick. Okay? And I probably have been exposed. I was in New York City at the very beginning of all of this, right? I've been all over the place. I've gone to many places. I was even in a conference of thousands of people just as COVID was hitting. So I'm sure I've been exposed to it multiple times. And so I think a lot of people are going to be like that. If Omicron is the next version of COVID that spreads globally, well, that's what the virus wants. Most people won't get sick. And of the people that get sick, the ones that are not necessarily at risk will just be sick. They'll be sick for a few days and recover. And then those that are at risk, well, look, dude, you're at risk. What can we do? Okay. So anyway, so I don't mean to downplay it, but we have to also look at the aggregate and say, what does this mean for the economy? Okay, I'm not here to talk about efficacy of things, right? We're just like, dude, is the economy going to shut down or not? Okay, and so right now it seems more and more likely that it won't. And so there's like fundamentals were working, then they were not working. Okay, then everything technically, and then was bearish, but then the zeitgeist, if you will, the mood of the market changed when Omicron hit, and so we've had a lot of risk off. Dude, Bitcoin lost 20% over the weekend. So I don't know if you're going to be buying it all up, but anyways, there's been a lot of down, and the problem now is, of course, I can't buy it just because it's cheap. I need things to turn, but maybe we're in a turning point. So this is a very interesting and in some cases challenging time to be a trader. So like if you bought low at the open on Sunday, I get what you're doing, but you're buying against the current technical trend, which, you know, counter trend trading has its place, but it ultimately is less conservative. That's all, right? And so how do we time, like, how do we observe going, you know, how do you technically observe going back to what fundamentally should be happening? And what do you do in between? And we talked about it a lot last week. There's cross currents. Okay. Okay. Oh, right on. Thank you, Pastor. You watch them 2 or 3 times. Well, that's, you know, some of those videos are like 2 hours. The swing trading group met almost for 4 hours, I think, right? Okay. Darko bought a negative ion thing. Yeah, I got something on the way like that too. Right? So anyways, Moreno says America will blame everyone but themselves. No, but yeah, and you know, it's interesting though, nonetheless, when, you know, a plane from South Africa lands in wherever it was, Belgium, and, you know, more than 10% of the plane is sick, you're like, that's just fact. And of course, people are going to latch onto that, or the media is going to latch onto that. But like South Africa shouldn't let sick people on a plane. And then another person gets on the plane from South Africa, apparently is sick, flies to Atlanta and gets red flagged for COVID, and it turns out it's Omicron. I'm like, dude, why are sick people getting on planes in South Africa? Like, right? So Americans, like, I'm not agreeing or disagreeing with you, but like, dude, South Africa, come on, man, shut that shit down, right? Like it's bad press. I know, I get it. It's bad press, but somewhat self-inflicted too, I guess, right? Like, dude, don't let people on planes if they're sick, right? So anyways, hey man, I'm pro South Africa too, right? I think it's a great country with great people and great resources and a great opportunity, right? I think South Africa is a great opportunity. But it probably has been for a very long time. All right. So anyways, here we are. Right? Still recommending wheatgrass. Yeah. All right, so let's just kind of start with commodities this time. Okay. Did you guys catch my non-farm payrolls live at FX Street? I answered a question like, in the medium term, is oil going to go up or down? Okay. Yeah, I answered that question. By the way, did you like it? It was pretty detailed and pretty specific, and I don't think something I talked about here. But the thing is, I've put some thought into it, right? Like I didn't say, well, we're at a 382 Fibonacci retracement, so I think it's going to go up, eh? No, I didn't, right? I went through sort of the business of oil, both domestically and internationally, and how that would lead to changes in supply, assuming that demand is at least present, right? Jim, I filter my wheatgrass through a cow. Sounds gross, right? But with a little bit of garlic, salt, and pepper, that's all you need, man. Maybe some onion. Okay? I used to drink, I've had wheatgrass. I wouldn't say I'm a big fan, but I ain't against it either. Yeah. Lucas, right on. Well, you're talking to a guy that, remember last week I told you I had a 2.2 pound ribeye? 2.2 pound bone-on ribeye. You're like, 2.2 pounds? Dude, 1 pound is big. 2 is stupid, but, you know. And then, of course, my dog ate the bone, which is great, and then crapped in my dining room. Thanks a lot. My wife's like, no more bones. I'm like, oh, what? All right. Oh yeah, bitty bitty bitty. Okay. Okay. Cool. Check it out. Whoa! Nice. Look at that. Love it. Right? Love it. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Love it, love it, love it. Yeah, that's what my dog did too. Buried it. What is this doing? Oh, that's what it's doing. Yeah, she ended up burying it. But now we took it away and she goes outside looking for it. And she gets bummed out when it's not there. I mean, it's really interesting. All right. But anyways, check it out. 20% drop in biddy since Friday after non-farm payrolls. Okay. And what is this? 40% from here? Cool. So what do we know? Well, going back to this counter trend idea, which I said was dangerous. Well, not dangerous, but I would say, I like what I said earlier, less conservative. But here's one of these situations where if you wanted to buy it back, technically that makes a lot of sense. 47.50, 47.5. It's kind of an interesting number technically. Okay. Kind of interesting technically. So yeah, it could be the basis of an opportunity. Okay, and then a little farther down is 45. Johnny's like, there's always evidence left behind. Yeah. Matrix, I don't know. Liquidity partners, regulatory compliance reasons and stuff. I don't know. I just don't know. The server, it's probably all on the same server, and the server is required to be put down versus some other firm that probably has separate servers with separate regulatory issues. And I mean, dude, I don't know. Okay. Yeah. So it'd be more like, you always have to ask yourself, why would they do it? If they did something different, they would make money. Well, do you think people like making money? Yeah, of course they want to make money, right? Sure, they would love it. But if they're not allowed to, they're not allowed to. And that's how I would look at it, right? They would, if they did it, they'd make money. So if they're not doing it, it's because they're not allowed to do it for whatever reason. Okay, and bummer for them, right? Bummer for them. All right, so anyways, here he is. And could be interesting, right? This could be an interesting... another way of looking at it is we're 2 standard deviations from the mean, and we're on the conservative projected low for December. And ultimately, I would like to see a risk-on run to the end of the year. Now, I'd like to see it. I can't predict that, and technically that doesn't exist on any of the charts I've been looking at recently. So even though I want it and like it and even could predict it, it doesn't exist. You have to always be aware of that. Okay? I want this to go up. I think it will go up. I can predict it going up, but it just not now, because that's not what the charts tell me. Not even on this lousy 1 hour chart, right? But if you take it out of context of like new trend, it could just be a trade. Okay? Weekly and monthly projected low, 20% drop. Bears are going to take some profit. Bulls might try to get back in, yada, yada, yada. Do what you need to do. Just be smart about it, okay? Cool. I wouldn't mind buying some. But not a leveraged trade, but I might just buy some. All right, and then gold. Everybody hates Wayne now with gold because every time people are like, I love gold so much. Tell me about gold. What's going on with gold? Then I show them like, dude, nothing's happened all year on gold, so why are you so excited? Okay. So I show this chart. I'm like, that's what happened with gold this year. It was here, then it was here, then it was here, then it was here, then it's even tightening. So like in the last half of a year, in the last 6 months, you get sort of this nonsense where you're like, well, there was a top here, and then there's sort of a top here, and then there's a bottom here, and there's a bottom here. So generally speaking, much of the time, we were just doing this, okay? Which doesn't look like a lot to me. Then you say, well, if you were less excited about gold and more excited about the S&P 500, it was plus 27% this year. And you traded this from 1750 all the way up to 1850? Yeah, good job, bro. Good job. So your gold moved 5 or 6% while everything else moved significantly more, right? So anyways. And if you had bought gold last year, you're probably actually down, right? So whatever. Maxie says, hey, 41 is the number. And the number is 41. Okay. Hayden, hey man, thank you for the enthusiasm, but let's calm down a bit, huh? All right. You say 41, and I say, I don't see it, bro. I don't know where you get your number. What are you trying? 41. No, that doesn't make any sense to me. I guess let me try going further back, see what Maxie's up to. What's Maxie up to? Maxie's doing this. 42. No, I can't even do that. So 41 119. I don't see 41 119, although we could have slightly different pivots. So the only thing I can think of that you're up to with this trade plan is that this fizzles out here in December, rises back up to 50, 51, 52, 53 area, and then January comes down with some dollar strength, and then we hit a low of 40 to 41. Okay, so now you're looking 8 weeks out. That's possible. That's all right, Hayden. Cool. I'm just saying, yeah. Phone was in my pocket. You like the emojis, though, huh? So yeah, you're looking a bit out, right? No, it wasn't 42 yesterday. Was it? No. Well, if it was, I don't have that, but I suppose it could have been. Don't know. Was it? Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. Well, there you go. So, all right. So it was really low, huh? Okay, great. Yeah, okay. Okay, cool. That's really low. So that's pretty scary. Right, William. I get it. I get it. Yeah. All right. Well, then someone caught it. But so now they're, whoever said it wants a lower low. Matrix wants a lower low. All right. Well, good luck with that. Okay. Let's take a look at the indices. Yeah. Well, I hope you bought it then, right? I hope you bought it at 41, but it's a hell of a gamble. Okay. CAD recover, Aussie recover, pound recover, Kiwi recover, yen weakened, dollar kind of gaining some strength and yen gaining some strength back. And this is the cross currents. And what we've been seeing over the last couple of weeks would be like up Monday, down Tuesday, up Wednesday, down Thursday, down Friday, up Monday, down Tuesday, up Wednesday, down Thursday, down Friday. So, you know, one way to sort of kind of, I don't know, manage that kind of price discovery is what I've been calling it. You could call it volatility, but we're trying to figure things out. Everybody's trying to figure this out. Okay, somebody's in panic mode with Bitcoin. If they bought it at 65 and now it dropped to 45, like, oh my God, right? Like, dude, some people are crushing it, but some people are getting crushed. And then the ones that crushed it will get crushed next. And so anyways, what I'm trying to say is you kind of stay with a narrative and play what you see more than what you want is one way of doing it, or trade the counter. And I will not likely trade the counter. It's just how I got to where I am, and I developed a bubble that's around me that says don't counter trend trade. Now, I see it most of the time, but I generally don't take it. So, and the reason for it is I believe the counter trend is a behavioral issue, and I love technical analysis so much. Even though you believe I'm a fundamental guy, I love technicals so much that I'll lean on the technicals to tell me what's what. Okay? All right. Oh, that Euro trade's still in play. Okay, this was from class last night in the day trading group. I'm gonna just kill some of this out. These were trades we talked about. Looks like I'm in one of the trades, which is nice. Got my stop in place. It's all good in the hood. You can see that this looks like I set up plan A based on an entry off the 1 hour. There, I just took a trade off that looks like just missed, and this next trade is up here based on the 4H. This is a 1H. And so right now it's not actually good. When you take a trade, you don't like seeing a higher high. So right now I just kind of have to let it play out. So the other things that are going on here is there's a monthly pivot of some sort here, and there's the weekly central pivot here, and then the daily sell zone here. So it's a sort of a rough start. Okay, it's sort of a rough start. So we'll see. Just kind of let it work itself out, right? William says fundamentals alone aren't good enough without technical confirmation, because your fundamentals are your thesis and your technicals are the indication that your thesis is playing out into reality or not playing out. Okay, which is important, where you have to decide how to engage and manage risk. Okay, so for example, I call it congruency, where, like, let's make this sort of very basic. Okay, so the way I would look for congruency is, fundamentally, I believe euro will go up and yen will go down. Fundamentally meaning over the next 1, 2, or 3 years. Inside those years, we have seasonality, where this pair is more likely to go up, and then later in the year, more likely to go down, and then in a different part of the year, more likely to go up and more likely to go down. Okay? Doesn't always work. Kiwi, for example, was supposed to go up in November, but it came down in November. Technical saved me from a big loss. Okay? But anyways, so there's like the thesis, and then there's how the market moves. Okay? It's like you want to learn how to be a sailor. I'm talking about the tide. So the tide doesn't sail the boat, nor can the sailor control the tides, but the sailor should know when to expect changes in currents. Okay? There's a time of day where you cannot leave the San Francisco Bay and go out into the Pacific Ocean. There's twice a day where you just cannot do it. You physically cannot do it. The boat cannot outdo the current from the incoming tide. You cannot beat the Pacific Ocean. So you should know that. And then when the tide's going out, guess what? All those big ships in the ports, they're all going out to sea. In particular, low tide, so they can get under the Golden Gate Bridge, right? I've learned these things. I've seen it. Okay? So the sailor can't do anything, right? The captain of the ship can't do anything about it, but it's very helpful to know these things, right? When to try to leave port and when to come into port. And high tide and low tide matters too, depending on how big your ship is and how low the bridge is, right? So now you're like, well, we want to go in, but now it's high tide and we won't clear it. We'll slam into the Golden Gate, right? Okay? What are you guys talking about? Oh, the growth rate. Right, it was funny. 1989 was when Apple released the, not the Lisa. Lisa was the prototype, but the, I guess it was the Macintosh, right? Well, it was not even the Macintosh. That was later. The Apple. It was the predecessor to the Apple II. I think maybe it was just called Apple. So anyways, but that graphical user interface and a mouse, that happened in 1989. Okay. But things really didn't get going internet-wise for quite some time after that. I'm thinking, when did John Doerr get involved with At Home? That's when they really made, you remember the modems? Dude, I got a 14.4, right? Then I remember upgrading from my 14.4 to my 28.8. Just crazy. I got a 28.8. 28,800 megabits per second. No freaking way, bro. Okay. But so there had to be a revolution, not only in personal computers, but then modems. And people were running ISPs out of their home and stuff like that, right? It was really a strange time. But yeah, 89 was pretty early for personal computers. To give you an example, I think it was 1993. Sorry, 1993. I bought an Apple PowerBook 145B, 4 megs of RAM, 40 megabit for megs, 40 megs of hard disk. It was powerful. I had Windows, I had games, I had everything on this thing. Okay, so that was 1993. And I would walk into the classroom full of college students, and I was the only one with a laptop. And I was one of the only people at my university of 30, 40, 50,000 people that had an email address in 1993. Right, so that's, if you want to base like, and by the way, that's in the Silicon Valley. So the reason I bring that up is for those trying to figure out, personal computers and the internet and what was it like. Well, that's what the Silicon Valley was like in 1993. So those that were involved in the high-tech industry in like the late 80s, working with Xerox PARC and all that kind of stuff, that was quite new. That what you were so bleeding edge. It would have been like Bitcoin when Bitcoin was, 5 cents. Okay. But by 1993, can you imagine going into a major university located in the Silicon Valley? And I can go into any classroom and I'm the only guy typing on a laptop. Right? But anyways, I was one of those kids where I had to attend maybe half my classes. I would never do homework. And I just show up, take the test, and I got out of university with a B average. I keep looking back at my transcripts, and I'm like, dude, I didn't even go to these classes. Just walk in, knock it out, B, leave. I'm like, dude, I was so busy meeting with Fortune 500 CEOs that school seemed stupid. Anyways. So here we are. Yowzer. So you want to start out and say, well, what do the technicals say on a higher time frame to understand if you're countering or not countering? So a lot of these trades here on the yens, okay? So you got to remember this one I took early is based on a 1 hour chart. That's not the right thing to be doing most of the time. Now, on a Sunday night with a big move on Friday, it's worth the shot. What I did on my accounts is smaller lot sizes again. But the next part of what I'm looking at is the real short trades if you want to be on the bear side, only because not opinion, but the market has been bearish. So if the market, especially if you use the 2155, if it is bearish and you're buying it, you are by definition countering. But I understand why you did. Like if you bought that, I understand that. That's a weekly swing up, but it's a counter for me. So I generally prefer to wait. So like going full lot size probably won't occur until we get to there. Now we were a million miles away Sunday. Okay, more than 12 hours ago, I already set up all the trades. Okay, the better trade is here for a short. Okay, the better trade is probably up here for a short. The better trade just occurred. Okay, now I'll be honest with you. I took a shot down here. I was in on that red candle and went to bed. So I lost money. Wah, wah, wah. But I don't use a lot of leverage. And two, I cut my lot size because I knew where I stood. This might fall because of the daily pivot, the hourly, but the real trade is up here. So I'm much more interested now. The real trade is right here. It just sort of set up. Okay. So I took plan A, hasn't worked. Okay. But I'm still in plan A and plan B might work and plan B is live. That looks interesting to me. Kitty Cad, breaching. I had to look at this 3 times. I'm like, did my charts not draw it out right? Like, what's going on? I'm like, oh, it is a 4 hour. Oh, okay. Now I say, ooh, because I want to buy it. But under these market conditions, I cannot buy it. And so it's disappointing. And it might mean these other ones are wrong, but technically the other ones are more bearish. So I look at this and say, well, CAD is actually quite strong. Della says, what is your leverage? I don't even really need leverage. It could be probably 25 to 1 and it'd be fine. Okay. But you'd like the way I can control leverage, like I'm not necessarily talking about, 100 to 1 versus 50 to 1 leverage. Okay. I'm not really talking about that. Okay. I'm saying like this. Let's say you opened an account with $100,000 in cash. I want you to think about that. $100,000 in cash. Okay? No joke, right? Most of you don't have $100,000 in your account. Okay? But imagine you did. What lot size would you be trading? Okay? My minimum, okay, would be 1 mini. I know you just crapped a brick, right? I get you. My maximum would be 3.3 minis. Lexus says 1%. Never in a bajillion years would I do that. Never. Ever would I do that. Nope. So, does it matter if I have 100 to 1 leverage? No, I don't need it. I don't even need that. 50 to 1, it wouldn't matter. I'm not even using, I'm barely using any leverage at all. Matrix says 0.1. Well, that's really low, but I suppose. Okay? To 0.10. That's even lower, but great. So what that does is it reduces the upside because you're reducing the downside. Well, reducing the downside is much more important. And remember, I'm only trying for 1 to 5% with an average of, let's say, 2%. I'm convinced through my years of research and studying, not just trading, but even analyzing, the billionaires of the traders that have earned billions. And we've watched a few in the day trading group recently. And you can reverse engineer how they made their billions. David Tepper only averaged 1.5% per month. And he's a billionaire. He has $14.5 billion when he woke up this morning. Probably checked his bank account immediately. Oh, 14,622,000,000. So 14,625,000,000,000. No, I screwed that up. 14,625,000,000. Oh, I made an extra 100 million this month. You're like, dude, an extra 100 million. But the thing is, he's still only averaging 1.5 per month. Okay. Okay. Well, Matrix, the issue is to a business is that's what people want. Okay. People want a Tesla. So everyone's going to make electric vehicles, right? Let me play a video for you. I have it somewhere. Okay. Oh, sorry, I was doing two things at once. I cannot do that. All right. Most people want a Tesla, right? See if this comes through. That's what I want. Well, actually, that's what I have. And you should hear it on a cold start, dude. It's like a monster. It's like a dragon waking up. That's not even a cold start. That's my GTS. And when I started, it's just like, oh, that is so nice. But right now, everyone's going EV. That's what people want. So it might not be the best for everybody to have a vehicle that goes 10 miles to the gallon. Maybe you shouldn't have a Forex account with $10 in it, but that's what the market wants. And okay. Okay, I can't quite see that last question. I have to expand the page. If you max trade is 0.33, I didn't say percent, lot size. We're talking about lot size. Okay? Can you tell us when and do you ever use leverage? Well, what you add is you build positions. Okay? You build positions. So in an upside down, upsy-turvy, volatile market like we have recently, I'm not able to really build positions. So for example, short-term short. If I'm, and this goes back to the question we had at the very beginning. When do you know when to swing and when do you know? Are you still around, Vodka? Yeah, okay, Vodka's still here. All right, so if you are fundamentally bearish on the US dollar and you think all these pairs are going to go up on the long term, okay? When you get technical setups for long-term trades, meaning these 4-hour charts all say up. Well, now you buy dips and you're going for a minimum of 300 pips profit per trade. Okay, now going back to the other question, when do you use leverage? Well, I never use leverage. So what happens is, put it this way, Milos. All these point up. Fundamentally, you believe they're all going up, so you have congruency between fundamental and technical analysis. So you buy a dip. Your minimal acceptable performance for the profit on those trades are 300 pips. So what happens is you're in it for a day or two. Those first trades are up 50 to 100 pips, and then they dip again. You put on another position because, think of it, you're not using any leverage anymore. You have 100% available margin. Even though you might have 4 or 5 trades open from the first day, by day 2, they're all up 50 to 100 pips. So your available margin on the account is 100%. So you add 5 more trades. And you keep buying dips. And now, if you're lucky to get to the 333, well, you start you're thinning the herd off the top, right? You're taking your earlier trades off. But at some point too, not just sort of risk reward based on trending, at some point you're going to hit targets. Like, it doesn't matter if it's 222 pips away. If you're looking at an R2, it's an R2, man. Monthly R2 is a monthly R2. So you might have now 20 trades open. Some have 250, some have 150, and some have 50, depending on when you entered. Meanwhile, you've already scaled a few out because they hit their 333, which was before the R2. Okay? And so now you're hitting R2, and you take profit on everything. Okay? That's what I mean by long-term long. You don't change your entry, but you change the way you exit, and you change the way you manage the risk. When you lack that congruency, where your fundamentals shouldn't change very often. Like every 5 years, your fundamentals might change, unless there's an exogenous shock or a radical change at the central bank. But nonetheless, right, there's some seasonality involved. So even if these are bullish now and it's bullish fundamentally, based on seasonality, there will be a period where technically things will no longer be bullish. So now if you're going to short, we call that short-term short, where you might be short for the day and take profit. Okay? Not 333 pips down short, but like short for the day. So that I call that day trading. Okay? So for example, if you were going to short this, somewhere around 70.50 is a pretty reasonable place to consider shorting this Aussie dollar. Okay? I'm not telling you it says short. You need to be the one that wants to short this. So somewhere in there seems pretty reasonable. Okay? because you'll see that this moving average is there, but in the future it'll be here. Plus you got the first swing entry. This is a swing entry right here. Okay, this is a dynamic entry, and this is the daily entry. Okay, so there's a lot saying if you were a bear, you should get ready to short around 70.50. Pretty interesting. But I'm long-term long. So my choice now is to not trade this, or if I trade this, I sell it today, and between today and tomorrow, I would project we're going to be down to 69.50. Okay, and that would be my trade. So sell it at 70.50, go for 69.50. Short-term short, and be happy with 100 pips. So the way I typically take a day trade like this, okay, I risk 33 pips, and I go for 100. Well, sorry, 99. No, Vodka, go through the day trading course again, and then talk to Ryan about his techniques for scalping opens. Okay. By the way, I am redoing the day trading group in the spring. And we're going to add a London session as well. So we're going to have two trading sessions for the day trading group. London Open and New York Close. Wow. Okay, London Open is to catch that volume move, and the New York Close is to set up the Asia fade. Nice! Oh my God, Becky. Yeah. Oh my God. Oh my God. Robin's on the seek, huh? I like it. Robin and stealing, seek and destroy. That's got to be a t-shirt, right? Robin and stealing pips, seek and destroy markets. Oh man, that's perfect. Well, Mark, it's not going to be me. Ryan's going to do the London Open. Well, Vodka, you're a member of FX Bootcamp proper, right? Not just live? Oh, if you jump the gap, man, that's probably a big no-no. How do you join FX Bootcamp? You have to go to FX Bootcamp, pay money for the courses, and then upgrade your account to the swing trading group. No, Barry, you still have to wear like a Halloween mask over your face, but then, so you got to have like a dead president mask. Isn't that what you're supposed to have, like a Richard Nixon mask? And then over the mask, you put your COVID mask, right? Yeah, Vodka, then that's a big no-no. That's a big no-no. I don't know how you got the link or who pointed you there, but that's a big no-no. Okay. See how we're doing here? I'm a big fan of the peso. Okay. Great monthly setup here on the Rand, but again, you're selling something that's incredibly bullish. Okay. On the smaller time frame, the 4 hour, it's still bullish, but I can see the challenge, but there's still this going on. Ooh, where'd it go? There's still that going on. Really? There's a link to the live group? Ooh. Well, I'm going to kill that. So I'm just looking at commodities right now, and I'm surprised there's some good recoveries. I want to go back. Let's go back to the actual commodities. I was looking at commodity currencies. And there's the daily. So what's going on hourly? Not a lot, huh? 65 on the bottom. If you might recall, a couple of months ago, we said 60. So 60 is about here, right? You can see it. Yeah, that dotted line is 60. Well, maybe that's 61. Well, that's too low if I go lower than that. So it's somewhere in there. You can see how the importance of it, right? So interesting, interesting, interesting. It's in the description below, huh? I don't see it, dude. There's no no link. You must have got an errant link somewhere. There's no link. Yeah, that's no good because you don't know how to make some of the basic decisions, and now you're doing more complicated technicals. So anyways, yeah, you skipped a whole bunch. Well, you're not supposed to even be invited. You're not even supposed to know about it until you've been in boot camp for, like, let's say a year. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's all right. Well, there's an errant link. Somehow you got a link that's not supposed to be shared with you. Somehow you got that. That's all right, though. You're going to need FX boot camp proper. You're going to need to go through the courses. Ryan's going to yell at you if you don't know what a 5-8 cross is or how to day trade. Like, dude, you don't know how to day trade. Come on, man. Come on. Right? There's also fundamentals in there. You need to learn about central banking and monetary policy. I'm going to release recordings that I did for macroeconomics and stuff like that. There's a lot you're missing, right? Yeah. Plus, you're not in my swing trading group. You're not in the day trading group. Yeah. All right. Do. So let's take a look. Okay, the mood more recently has been some dollar strength. Okay, let's go back to indices maybe. Sorry, I'm flipping around a lot. I apologize. Okay. Just kind of, let's get a sense of where we are. This is looking out daily. Okay, maybe we should, from this period, go to here, or maybe tighten it a little bit, do a smaller data set. back out and kind of figure out and you can see something's going on here, huh? So what I'm looking at, just so you know, okay, this is what we call price support. Okay, we're looking at important prices from the past. And then you could kind of really get into this, and sometimes you can overdo it. But nonetheless, you can see like there's stuff going on here. There was something sort of a little bit lower. But I think we can kind of dumb it down and say there's something going on at this price at 96 and there's another one at 95. So that's just interesting that they're round numbers. Okay, there's 95. And let's make it 96 on the index. Okay, now you can drop into a smaller time frame and say, okay, well, do you expect this to come down? Is the upward move over? Seasonality indicates that typically this goes down this time of year. And so the problem is, even though this is off of a high, we're still above the mean. We're still above average. Okay? Wonder if we should even mark this. What is this, 94 now? No, 93.50. 94 I don't think is important. Yeah, see, it doesn't seem to be that important. 93.5 is, though. It's kind of interesting. So, okay, so what you now have to do under these circumstances, of course, is wait for opportunities in which this might appreciate. Okay. And like I said, often it's been, you know, up on a Friday, down on a Monday, up on a Tuesday. Like literally, you may have to wait a whole day. Okay. So one of the things we watched yesterday in the day trading group on Sunday was an overview of David Tepper. And he said on one day he decided to do the unthinkable and buy a whole bunch of Russian debt for cheap, for pennies on the dollar. And they say he bought it and he made $1 billion. And just see how easy that is? Well, of course, it would have occurred over days and over weeks with excruciating stress and deliberation and everything. And of course, it didn't go profitable for a while, I'm sure. And like, it wasn't all in one section. So like, if you think that the dollar might return to strength, but it doesn't happen today, it doesn't mean that's over, right? So, right, you can build your positions. I doubt David Tepper bought $1 billion worth of Russian debt all in one day. He started, so he bought one, right? He bought a bond, and then he bought another bond, then he bought another bond, and the first bond started to perform, so he started to buy more, and as he saw the risk, right, risk-reward ratios changing in his favor, he would have bought some more, right? It would have occurred over a period of time, but when you watch the documentary, it's like, oh, he did this, and then he's a billionaire, and it sounds like he went all in. I doubt it. Okay, you'd have to be a fool, and I don't think he's a fool. Amazing, huh? Will it rain today?
It's likely. Today in Peachtree City, there's a good...
All right. All right, rain today. Any last requests? So, okay, so there's an errant link somehow getting in there somewhere. So, yeah, I'm not yelling at you. I'm just saying you're not supposed to know. That was probably originally on a video from a couple of years ago when we were handling things a little bit differently. And then somehow even though I had edited those out over the time, somehow I must have grabbed an old video, copied it, and then changed the title, but it had all that in there. But anyways. Okay. It's in the description. It's not in the... Let me do it again. Edit description. Okay. Video training course, FX Bootcamp. Open an account, Tradersway. Download my charts, MetaTraders. Get my book. Free training course. No. Ryan's, the link to the other group, I don't want to say the name of it, is not in the description. Nor should it be. But I know it's in the old one, I guess. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I thought we did gold, but okay. Let's do gold. So exciting. Let's do some gold. Okay. So, again, I'll start out with nothing's happened all year on gold, nor do we seem to be on an important level of support. So we're just kind of lagging out there. But, okay, let's go in. Let's do a smaller time frame. I'll put it on a bearish setup, update my charts. And, yeah, it's a 4-hour day. It's a swing short. So right here, around 1780, I guess. I can't quite see the exact number. The weekly target, let's see, that's a central, so the weekly target is 1737.5. Okay, the daily target is 1760. So let's just say 1740 for the week, 1760 for the day. Okay, pretty standard. Jim says, it says get a personal coach, but not mine. Really? Are you looking at the one today, or are you looking at a different one? Let's see, to download. Instrumental. Join FX Bootcamp, coupon code, open a Forex account, Tradersway, download my chart templates, MetaTraders, get my book on Forex trading, free Forex training course, youtube.com/FX Bootcamp, live Forex webinar hosted by Forex.Today, that's here, subscribe. Yeah, so no, not on this one. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, no, that's all right. You're golden, but you just skip things like fundamentals, day trading, and swing trading. And it's assumed you know that. So Ryan might not know. He would assume you know these things. Okay. So anyways, there you go. And that generally, that would say dollar strength for the rest of the day, if that is right. Okay, you see that? So pretty basic setup here, weekly and daily. Okay. A little bit of vulnerability, but there always is. Yeah, I'm sure it is. Like I said, it's from me copying old things. So, I mean, that's, yeah, on the 12th it would be, yeah. Cool. And remember, none of that is fundamental. It's just that's what the chart says. Ethereum just says, whoa, dude, whoa. right? Into the great wide open. Look at that, huh? Gee whiz. Golly gee whiz, Batman. It's quite a top. Apparently 4K. Apparently 4K is important to this. Okay. Breached the 21 back to the 55. And typically that means lower high, lower low. So I'd even change this now to like a bearish point of view, although it's still technically not bearish. But if you want to look at it from a bearish point of view, what it's saying is down to the 55. Remember, it's not just a bottom. It was a pullback. It was another pullback and another pullback with a failure to make a higher high. So it's not just that. So what this chart says is if you sell here, your target is here. Okay, so this is going down to 3,800, for example. And then what that would set up for January would be even lower. If you're just trading technical, this has nothing to do with fundamentals or the viability of Ethereum or something. No, that's just what the chart says. Okay, and you can see people played this double top like a fiddle, right? Like this is the ultimate target here, right? Somewhere between 38 and 35. So you might as well make it 35, right? And get a lower low, then a lower high, and then a lower low until that stops. Okay, so now you have to go no. Oops, no. So interesting. Oh, is that right? You looked a little unsettled. Well, it's just too early, right? That's all. Right, I want his success. I want him to succeed. So I'm like, oh, that's not supposed to happen. So that's all. There's a process. I'll give you an example. Someone in town, he's actually a friend of mine's neighbor. So again, my neighbor's neighbor. The neighbor's neighbor's son had some school problems, a drug problem, some social problems, but he bought him a Lamborghini Huracan, one of the rare ones too, the ones that have the Italian flag on it or the Italian colored stripes on it. I forget which one that is. The Huracan, I don't know. So it's not just a Lamborghini Huracan, but a rare one, a fancy one. But their driveway is about a quarter mile long to get to the house, and they're out in the country. They have some horses. So for whatever reason, the driveway was unpaved. So he bought his son the Lamborghini Huracan for graduating high school, despite his drug problems and other problems, but then realized you can't drive it on the Performante? Yeah, could be. Anyways, he realized and no joke, quarter mile long driveway wasn't paved, so they decided to pave it because of the Lambo. So they paved this thing. So how much money does he have into this kid right now? 400,000, 500,000? Okay. What do you think? A little too early to buy somebody a massively powerful, 850 horsepower Italian prancing pony? Oh, wait, it's a bull, right? Sorry, bull. Okay. So anyways, about a year ago, I was driving out of my neighborhood, and he had wrapped it around a tree. Apparently, he came around the corner so much, he lost control, went into the air, slammed into the tree, and was flipped around 180, pointing the wrong way into the street. And there was cops in front and back, and the car was totaled. And I thought, yeah, I think maybe buying that kid a car was probably not the right move. Not right. In this case, we got vodka. He's the right guy. He's a good, right? He's a good guy. So I'm not saying he's a drug addict, high school nutcase. He's a good guy, right? Great. But still, it's too early to get a powerful Lambo. He needs to go to driving school, right? He's got a driver's license, but let's send him to racing school, right? That kind of stuff. So there's a time for everything, right? So that was a bit early. So he's in the other group. That's cool, but I'd still like for him to understand fundamental analysis of monetary policy. The new macro course is coming out. You should know day trading. You should know swing trading. All that kind of stuff won't be given by Ryan because it's assumed he knows it thoroughly. Okay? So that's all. Mike says, can you share an ethics lesson with us? Can you be more specific? Yeah, the spoiler didn't keep it on ground. Well, this particular turn, it would have been a 110-degree turn, uphill, downhill. So he would have come around. He didn't realize that it was more than a 90-degree turn, and it would have provided liftoff because it was up to down, right? So the G-force would have just lifted him, and he would have just sailed because he would have been going sideways, and he was going too fast. The turn is too tight, and it threw him up. So there would have, right? The G's just took care of everything. So the guy was an idiot where he took the corner hard and lost control of the vehicle. That's it. It's too much power. I mean, dude, that is a crazy, crazy car. And he totaled it. It was, I don't know, 4 months old? 4 months old. So when you give your drug addict, idiot kid a Lambo, what does he do with it? Well, in a roughly 100 days, totals it. Huh? Should have bought him a PlayStation. Huh? Rich kids. I have a picture of it somewhere too. I wonder, I can even pull it up. It was a year ago. A beautiful car, by the way. You're like, what's not to like, right? You're like, oh no. All right, I know it's here. Oh, wait, I know it's coming up. I have it right here. No, it's not there. Wait, maybe I went right past it. No, it didn't save it. Too bad. It's weird. It saved every picture I ever sent to that group, except the one I now want to pull up. Anyways, that's really disappointing. It's kind of funny to see a Lambo, brand new Lambo, wrapped around a tree. Mike says on market manipulation and deceptive trading practices. Well, I suppose that would be definitional. Like, do you know the pump and dump trade? See a matrix. Do you know the pump and dump trade? Would you consider that one illegal or a way to get an edge? I mean, insider trading, for example, is illegal. So there were examples of members of Goldman Sachs going to a board meeting, then walking out and immediately texting a hedge fund to make trades. That's illegal. Colluding the Forex. I don't even know what that means. You might mean, is that related to LIBOR, you mean? Pete says pump and dump is illegal. I don't see why, though. So maybe that's my ethics. But a pump and dump is, let's say you want to sell, you own a whole bunch of Apple stock. Okay? You own a lot of Apple stock. And Apple's near an all-time high and you wish to sell it. But you're worried about if you sell at the all-time high, you'll get other people to sell it, and there'll be a big bad day where maybe Apple loses 5%. But dude, that's 5% of your money because you're trying to get out, but you caused the downward move, so you're shooting yourself in your foot. You're taking profit, but you're crushing the market, losing money on the way down. And now you have to sell in a falling market, and it's not difficult because nobody wants to buy what you're selling. So a pump and dump, first of all, starts with this idea that you want to dump a position, maybe a large block of your stock. You already own the stock. You're trying to get rid of it. Okay? So what you need to do is get the mood to be bullish. You need people to want to buy. You want dumb money to buy. If you're smart money and you want to dump your position for profit, you got to get dumb money interested in buying it from you. Think about it. You need somebody to buy your stock, which you now believe is overpriced. That's why you want to dump it. So you got to create the mood. You got to create the frenzy. It's like dumping chum into the ocean, and then the sharks show up. Okay? They show up and they want what you have. Okay? Cool. So you go into the futures market. I'm not talking about getting, Wall Street Journal to publish an article about, Candlecott steel or whatever. What I'm talking about is you go to the futures market now. Okay? And what you do, because the futures is leveraged 40 to 1, for $1 million, you can buy 40 million in the S&P 500. For 10 million, you can buy 400,000. Okay? Sorry, 400 million. And so on and so forth. You could really have a very big short-term impact. So here's what you do. You got one trader on the phone ready to dump your cash position in stock. You already own it. You gave up cash. You own it. And then someone else is going to play the futures market. And it goes 3, 2, 1, ding, 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 boom. And you place a huge order to buy on the open. And everybody sees the order flow. And they're like, oh my God, right? The Dukes are buying the S&P 500. And everyone starts to buy because there's a big bullish order flow. And the price starts going up, and everyone's buying, and wow, you got a really hot open. Meanwhile, you're selling off pieces of your Apple position, right? Sell. The Apple stock's going up, so sell. It's going up a little more, sell. Keep selling. And then once they realize there's more, right? Once the buying slows down because all the dumb money is entered, meanwhile, they see there's a big seller. So sell. Well, the futures contract gets closed for a profit. They made money. Now think about it. They might have gone in with, $10 million position in cash for 400 million in futures volume, made a profit on that, then they close it, and then everyone's like, oh my God, the buyer went away. Meanwhile, there's this big seller. So sell, 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 sell. And they've been selling as it's been going up, and then they keep selling as it tops out. And by the time it gets back to where it was, you've probably, right? You probably dumped your whole block with an average price higher than where it was at the open. So you were selling on the way up, you were selling on the way down, and then you're out. But your average price might be, reasonably higher than it otherwise would be. But more importantly, you prevented the market from going down, down, down because you wanted to dump this position. What you're trying to avoid is everyone sees that there's a big seller and like, oh no, he knows something that I don't know. And all of a sudden everybody's selling. No, you want everybody buying while you're selling, not everybody selling when you're selling. Okay? So, right? So somebody points out, Pete says, hey, so that pump and dump is illegal. What? They didn't lie to anyone. There wasn't a fake press release. What's wrong with buying the futures and selling the cash? That's what a hedge is. But it's a counter hedge. Okay? So I don't have a problem with it, but somebody might, I guess. But again, why? It's not illegal and it's not deceptive. It's not deceptive. They made money buying the futures market. What's wrong with that? Oh, well, they're also selling the cash. Well, yeah, hedge funds do that all the time. It's called hedging. They were hedging the downside while they wanted to get out of a position. They were hedging their profits. So anyway, so that would be me. Unless I'm misunderstanding that process. I'm not that big. But insider trading, you need to go to jail. There were lots of people that, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, that, there was systemic insider trading. Not just the traders, but literally board members of the companies. Okay? Like even Martha Stewart went to jail for insider trading. Think of that. Martha frickin' Stewart went to jail. Right on, vodka. Remember, don't wrap your Lambo around a tree. Pete says, I guess there's different types of pump and dump. I'm sure there is. Okay. Sir, can we do less Forex trading with less money? Yes. You can do the exact same techniques I use. Inevitably, however, because you got no money, you will have a larger lot size than I would. So you will have more risk than I would. So like I might have 100,000 in cash. Okay, in cash. And you have, I don't know, $250. I don't know what you mean by no money. And you got to find a way to trade less than me because I might only have one mini on the trade. It sounds ridiculous, but I'm a trend trader, so you build up positions. You don't throw down a position. Now the next part is you're like, well, the smallest I can get is 1 micro. Okay, so I'm like, okay, we'll go with the smallest you can, and don't try to get rich quick. The problem is you're still probably 1,000 times more leveraged than me. So be careful. Okay, I think here's my real advice. If you don't have any money, you need to earn some money. Right? Now you're not saying no money, you're saying less money. So yes, but the techniques are the same. I would trade the same, like no joke. If I had $5 million more put in my account today, I would trade the same. Okay? So if I had only 10,000 in my account, I would trade the same. Okay? So I don't know what less money means, but the thing is, if you have no money, I think you should train for at least 1 year. 1 year. Okay? Think about like working at, like this was normal, like if you were going to work at a bank or something, you were a young kid, you'd intern or train for a year, getting people coffee, studying for exams because they make you take a Series 7 and a bunch of other things. And you put your time in and you work, and then you work on a team, and then you still don't make much money, but you're learning, and then you get a shot. You go from making PowerPoint presentations all day to suddenly talking to clients, to suddenly trying to get clients, and now you're starting to make money. So you might train for 1 year and then work on a team for 5 more years, but you're making PowerPoint presentations all day. You're not touching the money. They might let you rebalance and stuff like that. Okay. But you can't even trade until you're licensed and registered. You can't make a position without a Series 7, right? So you got to put your time in. 5 years later, if you haven't flunked out like most people, what happens is you get to go get some clients. Now you got to go hunting. They're like, okay, you're pretty good. You worked on our team. Now go get us clients. And by the way, of the 20%, let's say it was a hedge fund, of the 20%, you can have 2% and everything else, right, goes to the firm. We'll give you a bonus or something, but it's your client. Go get them. But still, you're going to make everybody else rich because you're still just a junior on the team. Right? You see what I mean? So you might as well just say you don't have any money, so you're going to train both technically and fundamentally for at least 1 year. And while you're doing that, you're going to get a second job. And you're going to save money. We call this a side hustle. Okay? You will do a side hustle probably for that entire 5 years, maybe longer. Why? Well, if you made $1,000 trading Forex in your account this month and then spent it, you have 0% growth. Which means you'll never make any real money. So you need to be investing alongside your clients. So once you do have clients, they're paying 2% management fee and 20% of the profits you generate. Ideally, you can live off that. Meanwhile, your second job increases your own capital. No matter how you do it, or you live off the job, and then your performance fees increase your capital, so that 5 years after the 5 years, okay, maybe 10 years from today, you'll be an excellent trader. You'll have a track record of managing other people's money, which means you're investable. And then when a millionaire comes in and says, I'll give you $1 million if you can put in 100,000 of your own cash. And you say, okay. He's like, I'll give you 10 to 1. So if you got 100,000 in this account, right, I'll put in $1 million. And you say, okay. If someone says to you, or how about this? You reverse the sales pitch. I'm a really, really, really good Forex trader. And then he says, well, I'll give you $1 million if you put in 10%. And you're like, I don't have any money. I thought you were a good trader. Oh, I'm the best. I just don't have any money. Dude, good luck. So anyways. Okay. You better be pretty. You better be pretty. Because we know pretty people have an easier life, right? Cool. Food for thought. So you will stay broke. Okay. I'll leave you with one last thought. The way you get filthy, stinking rich is to stay broke. Okay? If you start to find success in Forex and you go out and you buy a nice TV, you live in poverty. If you go out and buy a fancy car with your Forex money, you will stay in poverty. If you upgrade your crappy apartment into a less crappy apartment, well, at least maybe someone won't steal your trading computer, but you're basically throwing your money away. And instead of having it compound, you're spending it and you will live in poverty. You understand that? So you need to stay broke for as long as heavenly possible. Don't buy stuff. Don't buy stuff. You don't need stuff. Stuff won't make you happy. The stuff you're allowed to buy is a very comfortable mattress to sleep on. Go ahead and buy yourself a really good mattress. You need to sleep at night. Okay? Do not spend money unless you're certain your $1 will be worth more in the future. Your TV will lose value. Stupid. Buying a trading computer, not stupid. You use it to make money. Buy a car, stupid. Oh, but I want to be a success. I want to have a no. Stupid. It's the dumbest thing ever. Right? Isn't it sad to see someone with a low net worth in a fancy car? You're like, this guy is stupid. What an idiot. Okay? I have taught you, and I will continue to teach you, that your fancy car that you want one day so you feel successful, you will get for free. Okay? Do you understand? If you paid money, if you took money out of your Forex account to buy yourself a Lamborghini, first of all, it ain't going to happen because you don't know how to make money. So if you even think that way, it's not going to work. You don't understand money. You don't even understand it. So that won't happen. So don't even think about it. But when you do, because I think you can learn and I think you will find a way, if that's what you think will make you happy or it's just a thing that you want to do, you're like, I just want to do it one day. Why not? Just for fun. Cool. I'm certain you will do it, but it won't cost you Forex money. Okay? And the classic example I give you is you decide you have too much Forex money in your account. You don't need all that leverage. Remember, I just told you don't need all that leverage. Okay? So you'll take money out of your account and you're like, I don't want to spend this money. I want it to make money, but I don't need this much Forex money. So you buy an apartment building. 5 years, you refi it. Another 5 years goes by and you refi that. Guess what? By the time your second refi comes up, you'll be 10 years into that real estate cycle. Remember the beauty of amortization. What does that mean? Your renters in their tiny little apartments with their giant flat screen TVs are also paying your mortgage for you. They're paying the insurance. They're paying for somebody to mow the lawns and trim the trees and shovel the snow, whatever. Okay? So after 10 years, through the wonders of amortization and And the beauty of capital appreciation, remember, after 10 years, you've had all that cash flow. People love cash flow. That means the value of the property will go up. Meanwhile, the value of your mortgage has gone down. So you'll refi. You'll walk into a Lamborghini dealership and you'll pay cash. If you lease it, you don't understand money. If you borrow cash, you don't understand what you're doing. You're like, may I borrow money for a losing investment? It's like the dumbest thing. But guess what? If you walk in because you were smart with your money, you walk into the Lamborghini dealership and they're like, oh, well, sir, before you can take it for a test drive, we'll have to do a credit report. No, you're like, I'm paying cash. So son, go get the frickin' keys and hurry up. Okay? Cool. And who paid for the Lambo? Your renters. That's how you do it. If you don't do it that way, right, you're a poser. If you leverage up to buy a Lambo, poser. Cool. So let's make the money together. Let's see you in 10 years. I'll go with you. I'll watch you buy the Lambo. It'll be great. We'll celebrate. Make sure you do donuts in the parking lot. Just smoke them. Leave the rubber right there at the dealership and then take off and watch yourself get your first speeding ticket by a cop that says, oh my God, look at Lambo. Let's go get him. Whoop, whoop, whoop. All right, they're going to come get you. But look, it's fun. I got my oil changed, and the kid came up who's supposed to come up to you and show you the dipstick. He came up and he's like, I just wanted to tell you I really like your car. I'm like, really? I love it. He's like, all these customizations. He's like, I opened the hood and I'm like, oh, this is nice. He's like, I like what you did here. I like what you did there. It's so clean. He's like, I really like your car. I'm like, right on, man. Me too. And he just went back and he shut the hood and stuff. And you're like, people come up to me. I'm filling up with gas. They're like, oh my God. Right? They want to talk. But it's all dudes, man. So don't get yourself a hot car thinking like really good looking women are going to be attracted to you. They don't give a damn. What they want is one guy that's emotionally stable and has a stable job, is on a career, and then wants to start a family. That's how you find a woman. But if you want dudes to hang out with you, go get yourself a fast car. But the thing is, do you really want to leverage up so dudes want to talk to you? Huh? How about safer retirement? Yeah. Safer retirement. Right? You want her to like you. You're talking about you're having cocktails and stuff, and you're talking about money. And you're like, well, actually, right now, right, I'm investing into my home, but I'm also plowing a ton of cash into my retirement account because when I'm 65, I'll be filthy, stinking, grossly, absurdly wealthy, and I just want to travel the world. Okay? She's going to smile. All right, so we'll leave it at that. There's money, there's behavior, there's psychology, there's stereotyping, right? Yeah, it's all there, man. It's all there. It's all good. It's all reality. Okay? Ultimately, think about it too. As I go through all the traders that have made billions of dollars being traders, I think you'll find that there's nobody lazy and there's nobody stupid that has found their success. Okay? So, one of the things I'm working on is more life balance and a healthier lifestyle, right? I lost 22 pounds recently, and I've been holding at that weight for a couple of weeks now. So I got to get more serious and see if I can get that down to 25 or 30 pounds lost, right? And that will require additional lifestyle changes, but also I'm looking at sort of, other physical improvements like maybe stretching more and all that kind of stuff. I know there's small changes, but it takes enormous amount of effort, especially when you're constantly thinking about working. Constantly. And I suffered recently from lack of life balance. Even though I'm running around trying to do everything for everyone, apparently I haven't been very successful at that. So I've worked too much, so I need to kind of change how I work, and I'm always trying to improve. But right, and part of those improvements is doing my research and thinking about what things mean and how to balance right and wrong and good and bad and up and down, right? So in the sort of the metaphysical world, if you will, on top of the actual physical world of being good, doing the job, but also being healthy and being happy at the same time. All of that is really quite a struggle, but I think we all struggle through it. I don't think there's any one person that hasn't been through these ups and downs as being a trader. And so even though it's been 20 years for me, even before that, 20 years before that, so now we're talking about 40 years ago, I guess. No, that can't be right. I'm not that old. But in that time of the 90s, I was so unbalanced that I would sleep for 4 hours every other day. Now think of that. So yes, like I said, I didn't even go to my classes, and somehow I still got a B average out of that university over the course of 3 years. But I was working almost 20 hours a day, traveling, doing lectures and training and recruiting and management. I was running a company of thousands of people, right? That's how I got on the board of directors with George Soros. I was overseeing an organization of thousands of people, but I was 20 years old in college at the same time doing both, and I was running a small business to pay for all of this. So I ran a small business, was a full-time student on scholarships, right, in university, and I ran a company of thousands of people on top of that. And apparently I didn't have enough time in a particular day to actually sleep until the house of cards came crashing down. And I realized, holy crap, that was the first time I realized that maybe some life balance. Because I always you got to understand too, in the early 90s, it was all about like when you'd hear about Jerry Yang sleeping under his desk, like literally curled up, sleeping under his desk because he was building Yahoo, right? Like that's the Silicon Valley I worked in. By the time I left the Silicon Valley, people were showing up to get rich, not to change the world. And that's why I walked. I'm like, this is bull crap. Okay. So anyways, that was the world I lived in that time, and I aspired to it. If I was sleeping, I wasn't working hard enough because I was literally changing the world. I had people tell me I changed their world, and it inspired me to, heights that you can't even imagine. It inspired me to continue to change the world, but not the aggregate world, but the world of the people I'm impacting, the people I have direct. So if I can change your world in a positive way and help you increase your own personal leverage, not the broker's leverage, then I can't tell you how amazingly powerful that is, but I still struggle with the balance. So we all have our struggles. I'm just telling mine to the entire world. Millions of people, billions of people are going to know this now. So I hope you don't see it as a weakness. I'm going to continue to try to have life balance because I think it will make me a better trader. So this is what I'm going through. This is my, it's like old year's resolution, right? So, yeah. So I hope you find yours, and I'll see you in the morning. If you're in my day trading group, I'll see you this afternoon. Peace on earth. May the pips be with you. May your profits be above.